everyone, welcome to 5 Minutes. The aviation industry has been rapidly growing for several decades, and the number of air travelers is forecasted to be doubled in 20 years' time. To meet this high demand, airlines are expected to get numerous of aircraft into service. On the other hand, to maximize profits and efficiency, companies bring in new types of carriers while eliminating the old ones. It's my pleasure to have expertise from the industry here with us today to talk more about the retirement of aircraft. Let us welcome Justin from Qantas. And I heard that Qantas is retiring their 747, is it true?
Oh, yes, we are. Well, in fact, we've been using 747 since 1971. Not actually the first model because we wanted to see how it went, but we ended up using the 747Bs. We were using them for years. Ended up using a lot of 747-400s, which are the current ones we're retiring.
So what are you doing with the retired aircraft?
Well, currently we're actually sending our aircraft off to Victorville in the US, which is kind of a graveyard of sorts for aircraft, and we're just letting them rot and letting them stay there to be salvaged parts.
To learn more about retired aircraft, we have to know a little bit more about its life cycle. Here with us, we have Jonathan from UNSW.
The life cycle of an aircraft comprises collection of materials, its design, the supply chain, manufacturing of the aircraft, transport, its operation, and finally its end of life. The average age of aircraft between its start of service and retirement, excluding accidents or incidents, is 27.4 years. Each stage of the life cycle leaves a significant impact on the environment through mining for raw materials and emission of air pollutants like CO2, SOx, and NOx. It is important to reduce the impact of the aviation industry on the environment by extending the utility of retired aircraft through environmentally sustainable methods.
One of the more environmentally sustainable methods of managing retired aircraft is to disassemble them for its spare parts. Here with us, we have Alex from SLH.
The disassembling sector is profitable as the spare parts from retired aircraft, such as engines, landing gears, and avionics, which can be used for in-service aircraft. And it's actually in high demand. A market research done by Euromonitor International indicates that the global activities in importing and exporting aircraft, spacecraft, and its parts have increased at a rate of 41%, while the demand of it has increased 74%. Meanwhile, the market for the spare parts of retired aircraft is set to further expansion.
Another environmental sustainable method is to recycle disassembled aircraft. Here with us, we have Simon from Boeing.
Recycling and demeching aircraft are other environmental sustainable methods in managing retired aircraft. Recycling of aircraft and their components will substantially reduce the demand for raw materials in the manufacturing of aircraft. This is asserted by formation of Aircraft Fleet Recycling Association, or by Boeing and other aviation and salvaging companies to ensure some degrees of international coordination between regions when managing end-of-life aircraft.
Now we have two representatives from Airbus. Would you tell us more about the future projection of retired aircraft?
So it's predicted that about 15,000 commercial aircraft will reach the end-of-life stage within the next 15 years. So there's an increasing amount of stress put on companies to develop sustainable methods to manage the old and no longer usable aircraft. At Airbus, we've actually been working with a project that started in 2007 called PAMELA. It's short for Process for Advanced Management of End-of-Life Aircraft, and it's aimed at minimizing the amount of wastage through recycling various components. So far, it's actually been a very successful campaign. In fact, over 85% of aircraft components can be recycled and reused now thanks to development in a more scientific method of dismantling, using decontamination of parts, cleansing, and a smart removal of various bits and pieces.
So the current end-of-life process accounts for an integrated life cycle analysis throughout the design, operation, and decommissioning of the aircraft, which helps to assess the environmental impacts of the industrial products. These technologies include advanced databases and monitoring systems that can be applied to select dismantling processes and estimate both operational costs and the value of consumables that are able to be extracted. So at Airbus, we also aim to expand our ability to treat, cleanse, and decontaminate materials and components to maximize toxic-free recyclability and safe reclamation.
So what's the future for Qantas and its retired aircraft?
Well, with no current legislation surrounding environmental sustainability of end-of-life aircraft disposal process, companies rely on corporate responsibility to conform to the standards set by societal consciousness about eco-practices. However, the European Commission is active in considering turning responsibility into legislation. Manufacturers have to accept end-of-life vehicle back from airlines without charge, and this seems to be the direction in which end-of-life aircraft process is heading.
Since 2002, when the Act was enforced, there have been several reforms governing what percentage of the vehicle weight must be recyclable. Although there is no such regulation in aviation today, policymakers are aware of the issues, and changes will be sought in favor of the protection of the environment. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Thank you for staying with us today. Goodbye.